Howdy folks, welcome to It Came From Facebook. This is the series where I check out weird and otherwise unsellable motorcycles from the deepest corners of the internet. I heard your cries, I heard your pleas. You said, Yam, bring back It Came From Facebook, but make it cursed. So, producer Logan has found some extra cursed motorcycles. We do not have any clean models today. We are only looking at wretched, horrible bikes, the way that God intended. Let's begin, shall we? First up is a 2007 Kawasaki Ninja for $4,800. 35,000 miles on the clock. Runs absolutely amazing. Dipped rims, snakeskin seats. We have a tasteful man here. New chain, shifts perfect. A lot of carbon fiber. Fires up without hesitation. Make a deal. 6-speed. Integrated Let's D turn signals in the brake light, flush mounts on the front, fast and loud, have title. It's OBO, that means or best offer, folks. This guy's looking to make a deal. And it looks like we have some cracked fairings in the front that I'm immediately identifying, some weird cheese on the grips here that looks like grilled cheese special on the grips right there. All the fake carbon fiber that eBay can possibly offer you. Stumpy, short little exhaust that's going to be loud as all hell. Truly a piss missile if I have ever seen one. And sure enough, there's the snakeskin seats right there. Now, this is a perfect moment to tell you guys that taste is cultivated over time. And I think it's important that if you are in your 20s, maybe your 30s, I hope to God you're not in your 30s and thinking that something like this is cool. Because it's not a matter of, oh, yeah, everybody has their own tastes, man. Everybody can do whatever they want. And that is true, but we are also free to laugh at you. Those of us who are reasonable adults in this world, have good credit scores, are married, own homes, are doing right by society. We are allowed to look down upon the piss missiles of the world and say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't have gone with the red snakeskin seats on this thing. It's tasteless, it's classless, it doesn't really read the room correctly. But I will say, on a 636, which is what this looks like it is, it just says Kawasaki Ninja on here, but I'm looking at the frame, I'm looking at the headlights, it looks like a 636 from that era. Ram air intake, little lights here. I mean, smashed to bits on the fairing over here, right? You're not going to get top dollar for that. Look at all the Grim Reapers on the windshields here. Truly cursed. And look at that one on the fender. An abomination if I've ever seen one. Tires look to be in pretty good order. We see them flattened in the middle here. A classic sign of a highway roll race street squid missile. If you guys are ever interested in getting a motorcycle of a sport variety and you only see that the middle of the tire has been worn down to a fine pulp, but the meat is nice and fresh on the sides, that means the only thing this person did with his bike is just go fast in a straight line. Matched chain as well is quite the touch on this machine. Yeah, this one, not great. Hard to look at, hard to be around, probably smells bad. I think I'll rate it a 7 out of 10 in terms of it's cursed, because we're not rating it in terms of buying it, because these are all cursed bikes, and none of them are worth buying. So let's move on. 1993 Suzuki GSX, $2,300. This gentleman has left me a Bible to read here, so we're just going to look at the highlights. 93 GSX1100, 1200 cc's of displacement. Fuel lines were just redone. It has an OEM on/off switch and throttle tube on the way. The carbs only need a slight tune after installment, so it's on the way. So bike already needs a ton of work. Brand new, comfortable, firm grips, baby. You don't really hear that talked about very often, about the grips being comfortable and firm, but they're brand new. This gentleman also says that the rear brakes have had some work done. You'll go sliding if you hit it too hard, but the bike's very easy to control and very fast. So he's warning you that you're going to slide off of this thing, but it's also very interesting and easy to ride. The bike was customized, came with a Hayabusa tank. That is not the word Hayabusa, that's Hayabusa, is how I'm pronouncing that. The seat is a little ugly, but it's comfortable to sit on and works just fine. A nice upholstery should do it. The more I do on the bike, the price will go up. So the sky's the limit on this one, boys. Let's take a look. Yeah, that is about what I expected on this machine. Boy, oh boy. So purple frame, GSX 1100. Man, these were like big water buffalo style bikes, right? Kind of dating back from the 80s of the big 1100s and all that. But this one is definitely worse for wear. Weird photos taken in the rain. Couldn't even wait for the motorcycle to be in the dry. This guy had to get it listed immediately. Big cradle frame over here. It looks like part of it was painted and then the other part wasn't. So that's a bit strange. The seat looks really, really bad. We have a double take mirror from like a dirt bike. That's kind of interesting. Look at those firm, comfortable grips, baby. Firm and comfortable. The seat looks like a plastic bag or tarp draped over, you know, a box that you'd get for some random electronic item. It looks really bad, really cheap, and just down on their luck. Maybe that's the Hayabusa tank, or maybe that came with it. That doesn't look like the same shape as a Hayabusa tank. These bikes are notoriously very fat, very heavy, reasonably fast, reasonably capable, but from a 1993, man, you're talking a 32-year-old motorcycle. That's quite close to my birth year. I was born in 1992, and yeah, this is pretty rough going on this bike. The seat is pretty rough, and I think we're going to have to rate this one pretty poorly. Exposed wiring in the front over here, not a good look either. This is a bike that I think we have to rate on the cursed scale, either a 7.5 or an 8. This one's pretty high up there, but it does move under its own power, which is kind of good. All right, 1952 Harley-Davidson Panhead, $22,500. This is a copy of the Easy Rider Chopper, proper year, and runs and shifts. It don't get any better. I will trade. I don't have too much familiarity with this, but if it is in fact a 1952 that's in this good of shape and runs and rides on its own, maybe it is worth every bit of that money. I see here the gentleman has another classic vehicle in the back here. He has the bend pack. He's got a lift. Lots of hubcaps, it seems, in the back. Clearly a collector of some description, a worker and modifier on these sorts of machines. Honestly, I'm kind of digging this one. The seat is so thin. It's from a time when the average American did not weigh well over 200 pounds. This was when men were lean and fit and probably like 5'5", having developed some sort of terrible disease in their youth that impeded their growth. And so then they can ride stuff like this without feeling the horrible weight of not having any rear suspension, because if you can see here, that rear suspension is fixed. There is no spring. There is nothing holding that thing to make you feel any type of supple way down the road. The Bosuzoku style exhaust out the back. It's like truly an Americana sort of machine. Tiny little peanut tank. You know what? I'm kind of loving this thing. I don't know about $22,500, but you know, a motorcycle from 1952 is really saying something nowadays. So I don't know. Maybe this one isn't quite as cursed, but is certainly unique. A very cool motorcycle that I think definitely has the right buyer in mind for it. If you're looking for a chopper, you want something unique, something strange, this could certainly be your bag. I bet you this bike is so strange, unwieldy, and poor to ride. You guys let me know if you ever want me to grab a chopper to include on the channel here. I think that would be a lot of fun to maybe do a chopper as a bike that we try out. But yeah, this one I'm going to rate, in terms of cursed, it's not very high on the list. I'm going to give it like maybe a 3 out of 10 in terms of cursed. Let's keep it moving. All right, 2013 Suzuki GW250. That's a rare bird. You don't see those too often. $600, boys. Come on. Come on, get this bike. 600 OBO. Wasn't an accident, needs new front end, clean title. We start the listing off with the photo of what I assume is the accident. Looks like it took place in the neighborhood and the motorcycle was functionally decapitated. No more front end on this machine. We have 5,400 miles on the clock. Very basic little tachometer right there for this bike. Let's take a look. License, the tag right here says reckless. Well, you're wreckful, which how much you have done to this motorcycle, and perhaps you were riding pretty recklessly, which caused the bike to look like this. This is a sad little example of a GW250. Look at this, no front end, forks bent. I am shocked that this person is even trying to sell this motorcycle. It's very clearly a total loss. I mean, these bikes aren't even expensive to begin with. This was, what, a 2012, 2013 GW250? So you're talking about a bike that is worth at most $2,000. It's simply not worth it to fix. Anybody that would want something like this should just get one that's already running. This is way more effort than it's worth to try to fix and repair this bike and get it up and running. I should just kind of call it a day and sunset this machine. It's certainly not worth anybody's time or effort to fix. In terms of its cursed characteristics, it's tucked away sad in the corner of some shed somewhere. This belongs in the trash heap. So we're going to rate this one in cursed terms. This one's a solid 8 out of 10. This one's pretty cursed. Let's keep it moving. 1999 Kawasaki Other. We don't even know what kind of bike this is. $3,200. Just taking up space in a garage and want gone. 23,000 miles, I assume. 900cc Kawasaki. Very comfortable, very fast ride. We'll need some TLC, newer body kit if wanted. Brakes and oil done. Will need to be hauled. Needs a clutch wire and or new clutch kit. Oh boy. So we have what looks to be maybe a ZX9? Did they do those back in the day? ZZR 900 or something like that? My early 90s Kawasaki lore has eluded me. But the thing that kind of strikes me is, like, once we figured out this, like, you know, big aluminum twin spar frame and swing arm design, it's like Japanese bikes have been pretty similar for the last 30 years, just slightly refined and updated, you know? They kind of figured out the formula a while back. It doesn't appear to be in too terrible of a shape, but it certainly seems like the type of motorcycle that if you get up close, you're like, uh-oh, this is not looking good. Really bad degradation of the paint on the tank here. That is basically a total goner. You're going to have to pull this thing off, totally repaint it, sand it, completely redo it. Touch-up paint will not help you out here. That is not going to be enough. But, you know, we're in very poorly lit conditions. Hard to tell what's going on with this bike, but I think for the price this gentleman is asking, it's just simply not worth it. Particularly if it needs to be hauled away, needs a whole brand new clutch, a new clutch kit, like all this stuff on it. And these are the classic examples you see with these cursed listings. It's like they just need a lot of TLC, and the sellers are typically delusional in the prices they're asking. They're asking thousands of dollars over what anybody would want for it. And on top of that, to be honest, you're probably going to have someone pay this money to take it away from you. You know, you probably pay somebody to take this bike away. So this one, not super cursed, maybe a 6 out of 10, and we'll keep it moving. 1998 Kawasaki Ninja for $5,000. You know, something I want to point out here, boys, is you're not seeing too many Hondas. You're seeing lots of Kawasaki's and lots of Suzuki's. And I think this is why the memes are what they are, right? Honda and Yamaha people, they're patrician. They are wizened scholars of the motorcycling ways. Kawasaki and Suzuki people, unfortunately, I think, you know, the statistics bear out that they are more squiddly than your Yamaha Honda people, and they don't seem to take care of their bikes in the way that they do. 1998 Kawasaki Ninja for $5,000. Really don't want to sell, just seeing what's out there. Nothing wrong with it. Great bike, just had all fluids flushed and changed, getting ready to do pads, rotors, and front fork seals. Open to trade, specifically a CBR 929. Okay, so we don't know what kind of Ninja it is. It just says $5,000 for the Ninja. Some sort of like starburst gradient paint job. Photo actually is kind of cool with the reflection in the water, but you know, you gotta give us more information. Cursed listings also come in this variety where people just tend to not put enough information in the listings. And then you end up with these listings where you're like, I don't know what this bike is. I don't know what it does. I don't know how it runs. And to be honest, this kind of looks like a trailer park special. But the paint job is kind of nice on it. And I mean, if this runs and rides decently nice, you know, maybe there's nothing wrong with it. These nighttime shots are always a little scary, always a little weird. Kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies with the car in the background with the weird hood on top of it, the busted up bike. But somebody really took their time on this paint job because it actually is like reasonably decent. It's not easy to pull off this kind of gradient at a reasonable level like this. It's similar to that first Ninja we saw where it's kind of like bad taste but good execution, right? This is a similar thing where like I think a sunburst paint job with the Japanese lettering on it, you know, questionable taste, but reasonably well done. The frame looks clean. Everything looks pretty decently clean on this bike. I actually don't think this is too cursed. This bike, I think, is just perhaps a little misguided, a little lost. Maybe this bike just needs to talk to a high school guidance counselor, and it could be given some options on what it could do in life, because I think it could do a whole lot. You know, I think this motorcycle could potentially be a great thing for somebody, but in this shape, in this paint job, you know, just misguided. But in terms of cursed, not very high on the listing. We're going to give it a 5.5 and keep it moving. All right, 2009 Buell Blast Custom for $2,999. This one I thought was very strange, and I'm very excited to talk about it. I highlighted some of the things because this motorcycle seller has also given us a bit of a Bible. So he's willing to negotiate. He's dropped the price. We're at just a little under $3,000. I do wish to sell this cool creature to a good home. This awesome custom creature is amazing. Buell was with Harley-Davidson, and the carb has a Harley symbol on it, so you are actually getting a Harley. Buell owners the world over are now either seething or recoiling with joy, knowing that their Buells are in fact Harleys. You're getting a Harley, it's not a Buell. Even though Buell was the redheaded stepchild of Harley-Davidson, and people don't really view it that way. Book includes $8,000 worth of mods to this gem. I added new LED lights, a pretty big sound, and a real head turner. Hate to let it go, but he has too many bikes and simply need income and space. Let's take a look at the custom Buell Blast. I don't hate it. I don't like the dirt bike pegs that are on it. That looks really strange. But there is a sort of simplistic, majestic quality to this bike, right? This single swooping line is kind of cool. It's very weird to do this to a Buell. Very weird to do this to a Buell Blast. But something about the Buell Blast in this configuration has given us a bit of a magical quality. The frame looks like it was modified to be longer. This gas tank and the seat combination is totally different. We've deleted and done away with so many things in the middle here. We have a minimalistic type of quality to this motorcycle that I think just isn't found nowadays. And honestly, I don't hate it. It is peculiar, and it is very strange to do this to a Buell Blast, a motorcycle that, as you can see, has the single cylinder lopped off from a Harley-Davidson Sportster. It's 400-ish cc's, and it's just a bike that has historically been seen as a MSF training tool bike and nothing more. It's a very humble little beginner bike. So to go through all the effort to make this into some majestic, stripped down, you know, borderline Batmobile-looking motorcycle is honestly funny. Like, it's a bit strange and funny. I mean, look at look at this teardrop shape here. Doesn't it just evoke Harley-Davidson to you? Doesn't it evoke pure motorcycling? The dirt bike pegs are really sending me, dude. These are just hilarious. But again, poor, strange taste, but reasonable execution on this, right? Like, I can see some time and effort and attention was put towards this thing. This was the book sheet from the build, and it's weird and it's strange, but at the same time, like, I'm kind of into it. So this one, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10. 2016 Tao Tao Magician. Ooh, $950 for the Magician. This is a street legal dual sport Magician motorcycle with a 250cc engine, 5-speed manual transmission, Mikuni carburetor, new battery, new starter motor, all maintenance up to date, all fluids changed, even the fork oil, clear green, title assembled in the USA. All that stuff is probably done in the first 500 miles because the Magician needed to be changed. Now, in terms of it being a dual sport, this is really more of a 1.5 sport, right? I don't know if it does dual. I don't know if it does two different sports. I think this really is fighting to play, you know, junior varsity basketball at best. I don't think this motorcycle is equipped to do dual sports. 1,300 miles on the clock, and this fella has already had to do so much to this machine. It is really quite comical and amazing, the fact that so much has already had to be done on this bike. You know, it's sort of like a Trail 125 with an autoimmune disease. Yeah, we have some strange America stickers on the Chinese bike here. I like the Huffy bars here, has the padding because you know this thing's going to send you clear off the edge. This truly is a motorcycle that embodies the kind of mindset that it is truly about the rider, not the bike. I would like to see Paul Torres doing unthinkable things with the Tao Tao Magician. Also, Excellent name for a motorcycle, I have to say. A Tao Tao Magician. What magic tricks will it play? Who knows, right? What sort of things will it do? We don't know. It's got the gas cap from what looked to be like some sort of, ancient Chinese motorcycle, these no-name tires. The Tao Tao Magician, I'm going to rate this one a solid. In terms of cursed, it's not that cursed. It's pretty clean, but it's a bizarre Chinese dual sport, so 6 out of 10 for sure. All right, 1999 Honda CBR $1,100. Well, I told you guys there were no Hondas because Honda people are patricians, but unfortunately sometimes one of them does bite the dust. Clean title, running CBR 600, needs some things put back together and needs right foot brake and bracket. Has new battery, not another running CBR on here for $1,100. First $1,100 gets it. Obviously, it's not rideable. There's no brakes. Let's take a look. Not much I can ascertain from this photo. Kind of difficult to see what's going on. We have some parts missing. More parts are missing here. Hard to see what's up with it. We have writing on the frame, which is never good. That means the bike was probably totaled, probably visited a junkyard at some point. Is that frame the same for the engine? Is this motorcycle a parts bin special? We don't know. We still haven't seen a complete photo of the bike. We're missing the exhaust. Why are we getting these close-up artistic photos of the bike without being able to clearly see what's going on? I will say what's nice is I do see the tires have a good amount of tread on them, look to be reasonable. Really difficult to read odometer here, and a motorcycle that I don't think anybody should really spend much time on because we didn't even get good photos of it. So this one I'm also going to rate a hard 7 out of 10 in terms of it being cursed. Not a very good listing as well. So boys, thanks so much for checking out today's episode of It Came From Facebook. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you enjoy. And if you want us to continue doing this series, just let me know in the comments down below. I have a lot of fun doing these and showing you guys the weird cursed listings. If you want to see good motorcycles too, let me know down below and hit that link to the following video that has just appeared on the screen right now with the power of editing magic on YouTube post. If you want to keep the party going and watching more It Came From Facebooks, click that link right up there, or there. One of the places. Should be somewhere around there. Thanks so much for checking it out. Catch you later.